So, Carrie Lynn, I think it is time for us to begin. I'm going to introduce myself for anybody who hasn't met me before or seen 400 videos on the Musicplay online site. I'm Denise Gagne, and I'm really happy to, the focus of this meeting, what I want to do is really have lots of time for question and answers. So I'm going to quickly show you what you can use for sub-plans and substitute lesson plans on the website, and I will jump right into question and answer. So I figured out how to make computer work at my daughter's house. And I'm quite happy. Now, we've had this question a number of times. You can scroll two ways on Musicplay Online. So I can scroll here when I've got my cursor in the middle. If I move my cursor over here to the left, I guess I have to go a little further left. It scrolls up and down on the left. So that's how you get to see the lesson. This is interesting, Nathan, because I am having a little bit of this issue. Okay, lesson planning is where I want to go. And for sub-plans, I'm going to actually start with the overview because we put new things in the overview last week. So if you haven't done this already, especially if you don't have Musicplay binders, these month outlines are gold because these month outlines give you the song list. I'm going to go to September because we're in September now. It gives you the song list in Musicplay. It gives you what's in the lesson modules. And then it also gives you, I have to move the Zoom bar. I'll have to do this all Zoom. It gives you additional options. And of course, there's tons of options on Musicplay Online. So this, I would say downloading this, it's 11 pages per grade level. I would highly recommend you download that so you have an idea of what to follow. Now, Danae is on our Zoom with us, and Danae and Karis and I worked on these month. What will we learn in grade 2 music? These are new, and we have them in English and we have them in French. So what will we learn in grade 2 music? This is like a scope and sequence that you can post in your classroom. And so it goes over the elements of music that you're going to learn, and then what you're going to create, perform, respond, and connect in child-friendly language. So I would say those also are well worth the time to download and print them. Now I'm going to go into the lesson plan side, and here I have access to weekly lessons for every grade. And I'm going to stay with grade 2. So if I look at September, here's what's in week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And I have a link. I can view the Musicplay song list. I can view the learning module as well for that. But I'm going back to where I was before because it's that yellow button right here, planning resources. This has a wealth of information. So here is a PDF of the grade 2 subplans and a Word doc that you can edit. So what these plans are is sub-tub activities. You print off, if you've got 5 grade 2 classes, print off 10, 15, or 20 of these and put them in your sub-tub. And what this gives the sub is options. They can look for, these are all the songs that I think are super fun. They're not all grade 2 songs in grade 2. I've taken some of the favorites from grade 1 as well. Same with the singing games that are fun for kids to do. Lots of grade 2, but because it's early in the year, if you might want to go back to something from grade 1. Rhythm instrument activities, music listening, online games, create a big book is something else. So sub takes a copy of this, writes the date, September 15th, which class it is, 2A, 2S, 2B, and they have room to put notes at the end, and they check off what they've done. You don't have to give your subs your code. You can give them the student code or give them a link to what you want them to do. So if I want them to do games from grade 2, if I want them to do this, they just have to go into the site and then they can search for Nanny Goat. So if I go back to, I'm going to pull up another window. I'm going to go back to here and I go into my search and I want to find Nanny Goat. That's what the sub can do. If you want to make this into a Google slide, absolutely you can. And as long as you've been to the dashboard and generated your student code, the link will embed. Now, if you haven't done that already, I'm going to go up to here to Discover, go to your dashboard, go to Student Code, and the first time you come here, it's going to say generate my class code. I've already done it, so mine's here. And after you've done this once, your student code embeds in anything. So if I wanted to make up my own lesson for my sub, I could and give them links. And all they need is that link with the student code embedded and they can get in. So you don't have to share your own personal login information with your subs anymore. That is one way of doing lesson plans. I'm going to go back into lesson planning. And that time the scroll bar worked beautiful. And I'm going to go into planning resources for grade 2 again, right here, this yellow button. And I'm going to look at the no touch sub activities. My daughter is in a situation where they don't always have technology for subs. They only have so many computers they can borrow to log in. So if you have no technology and you have COVID restrictions, these are great games. And if you just want to give your subs, again, some easy options, download, print, decide what grade level you want to do this with. And these are good. One of the games is ABC Hide and Play. So simple to do. You just go to the whiteboard, write the alphabet out, and then you sing A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then you start removing letters. So if I take out the letter C, they'd sing and point A, B, D, E, F, G, and they would develop that inner hearing or audiation. And the sub can keep going until all letters are erased. So again, great activity, no technology needed, just a whiteboard and a whiteboard marker and other ideas to go with this. Freddy the Frog is a hiding game. And you, and you direct the student where it is. So these games, again, all downloadable, all available in grade 2 planning resources. Now, the earlier PDF that I showed you with all these options, we've made an editable version. So this is a Word doc and it actually doesn't open for me. It just downloaded, but then you have all that material and you can edit to put the things in that particular document that you like. I think it was my daughter that I got these from, this idea from, and I really, really like this idea for subs. Next area for subs, give them a link to a learning module. So we've been doing grade 2. I'm going to keep doing grade 2. So this week is September. The weeks start at the bottom. And this week is September week 2. If I have to be gone on Thursday, all I have to do is give my sub that a link. I copy that URL and my sub can pull it up. If I put that in a Google slide, this is what sub's going to see when they get here. I've gone incognito just so you see what the sub sees. They click the link and they'll see grade 2, lesson 2, and you have to tell them in your sub plans, log in as a student. And then you don't have to give away any of your information. Here's my code. It embedded automatically. As long as you've gone to the dashboard and downloaded or generated your code will be in there. And then they click access some fun and away they go. And they can go step by step through the lesson. If you decide, okay, I like most of this lesson, but there's things in here I don't want, you can copy it to your My List and edit it. Now, I can't do it right now because I'm logged in as a student. So I'm going to go back over to my teacher login. I made that mistake once already today, so I'm not going to do it again. I'm going to go to September week 2. And then I'm going to copy that lesson to My List. And first thing I'm going to do is edit. And I might say sub plan, grade 2, lesson 2, and I'm going to put in here 2021 in case I keep them forever. And then I can go, okay, we're not allowed to sing, so maybe I'll skip welcome to music with my sub. I can just trash it. Anything I don't want, I can trash. Here's a great little video about beat. Here's a tap on the beat activity. Here's engine number 9, keep the beat. Let's keep that. But I don't want the sub doing the interactive, so I'm going to get rid of that. And I don't want the sub taking the kids outside. I'll get rid of that. Poor Little Bug would be a good sub activity because it's just a song that they sing along. And maybe we don't need to see that kids demo with the sub. If you're in the US, delete Oh Canada. If you're in Canada, you can delete the other way. So I'll leave in My Country 'Tis of Thee, and then we end with the music time is over. If I want to add anything, if I've got something that I just love from YouTube, I can go to Add Procedure. I can open up YouTube, and I'm going to show you for our Canadian teachers. We won't forget you. I'm building a lesson around this song. It's about it's done actually by the Kamloops students, and it's about the residential schools. And so I'm going to copy that link. That will be in the Orange Shirt Day unit. And I'm going to put that link in here, and I'm going to say, we won't forget. And I'm going to say it's for Orange Shirt Day. And then once oops, I did something bad. Okay, I'm gonna just edit that. Okay, it comes up anyways, even though I didn't do it quite right. I wanna edit because I'm missing the T. There, we won't forget, and listen to the song. I might add some notes, what they should do. I can add as many procedures as I want, and it'll be all good. But honestly, these learning modules are very doable for a sub. The past 2 years, we've had a number of teachers who have had family situations where they were in a situation they simply didn't have time to create subplans. They gave their subs links to the modules, and the subs were good to go. And I think the subs have reported that they're fine with this as well. So all your grades are here, whatever grades you teach. You can pull it up and you can decide which lesson you want to do. Okay, do we have any questions in the chat? I am quite ready for questions.
Yes. So a little bit more about the student codes. There have been questions in the chat, so I'm just going to say them out loud so that if anybody's not looking at the chat, they also get this answer. Do you have to generate a class code for each class or grade level?
And of course, the answer is you only generate one class code for everybody in your school and for any subs that come into your room. And again, if you missed the beginning part of this, to generate your class code, go to My Dashboard, go to Student Code, and the first time you come here, instead of enter the code, it's going to say generate my class code. As soon as you click on that, you've got your class code and it embeds automatically into activities. Okay.
Perfect. So while you're still on this page, another question came up. Do you have to make up your own code? I did print one out. Is that the correct code?
That is the correct code. But really and truly, anytime you forget your code, you can go back and look at it, but you don't have to give this to kids, because any link that I give kids, be it from a listening activity, I want the kids to watch Hens and Roosters from Carnival of the Animals. All I have to do is to copy that. And if I go this way, you can see my access code is embedded in it. So it's pretty consistently effective. Thank you, Nathan, for this, because you don't have to teach the kids a code. Yeah, as long as you give them a link, they'll go right to whatever activity you've linked them to.
Yes, awesome. Okay, so I do have another question, just student code related. If you used beta Musicplay Online in the spring, is it the same student code?
It should be, yes. Am I right?
Yes, it
yes.
is. It should be.
Once you've done it once, yeah. It's your code as long as you're a subscriber. You don't have to. When we first did student access, we changed every 3 months. That's long gone, 2 years ago. 2 years ago gone. Now, once you have a code, it's your code forever.
Perfect. Yeah. And the only other thing was that we were experiencing a bug a while ago that reset some student codes. So if you do not have a My Access code, definitely go and check to make sure that your student code has been generated. But that bug is fixed. So that is good. Okay.
We had some My List bugs as well happening a week ago, and that seems to have been fixed, and it's beautiful. And see, now my scroll bar is going really nice up and down as long as my cursor's over here. Okay, more questions.
Okay, yes. Okay, excellent. So let's move over to my list. So my list, one question is, how do I copy a lesson into my list?
Okay, so you can do lists two ways. You can generate a list completely from scratch. So if I want to do a from scratch list, I go add new. I call it, I'm going to call this sub lesson grade 3, September 2021. And I'm going to add it. Now what I would do is I would navigate to a learning object and add it to my list. So I said grade 3. So I'm going to go to the grade 3 song list, and I really like I Like Singing, and it's a sing-along song, so it would be a fairly easy one for teachers to teach. I'm going to go to the lyrics, and I'm going to copy, actually, I don't do that. For my list, I go add to my list, and I want it in this sub lesson, and I'm going to say I like singing, and I put the lyrics in, and I add it. Now it's added to my list, and I can add songs, I can add any videos, I can go to the games and I can add a game, I can add listening, I can add an instrument lesson. Pretty well anything that's on the site that's interactive, you can add to your My List. The other way to do a My List is to go into the pre-built lessons. And just for the sake of argument, I'm going to go to grade 5. Grade 5 is always probably one of our more challenging grades to teach. And so I'm going to go to grade 5, lesson 1, and I'm going to copy to my list. And the first thing I want to do is edit the title. And I'm going to say this, grade 5, grade 5, lesson 1 for sub. And I save it. And then I can edit as I wish. It's got some fun spoons activities and a really interesting performance by a lady, I think from Nashville. And we have another video that shows how to play the spoons. If you can leave behind 30 or 60 plastic spoons, your kids can do this. And then we've got interactives and a staff lesson and little Tommy Tinker. And you can add, subtract, take away, whatever you don't want your sub to do with your grade 5s. So that's how you do it. When I go into my list now, I've got my grade 5 lesson and I've got my grade 3 lesson. I only added one thing to grade 3, so all that's there right now is I Like Singing. But grade 5, I've got the whole lesson, and I've made some edits to my grade 2 lesson. Okay, more questions.
Okay. Yes, the questions are rolling in, so it's very good. We're just keeping up. Okay. Do you want more My List questions or? Sure, My List, you're in My List, excellent. Okay, so how do you get a sub one of your My List lessons?
Okay, again, for a sub, all you have to do, I'm going to go to the lesson. I just copy the URL. So I go up into the browser window and I copy that. And I would put it then into a Google slide or an email or whatever method you have to get your sub those links. And when your sub clicks on that link, this is what the sub will see. They'll see sub lesson grade 3 and tell them, for sure, tell them access as a student. And because my code's automatically embedded, they go right to the lesson. So the sub can't edit this. The sub can only use it, but it embeds automatically. Okay, more questions.
Yes, great. Okay, so I think you already answered, can you reorder activities if you add something to your list? So
Absolutely. So you just use I'm back in my own teacher account. So if I want, um, I'll have to go to a different one. If I want to move things up and down, I use those arrows. So I'll look at my subplan for grade 2. If I decide I want this video towards the end of the lesson, I use that arrow and I can move it to wherever I want it. And if I want to get rid of it completely, I can trash it. Okay.
perfect. Okay. So the next one is an interesting question that might be more for Nathan. If you're going to be out for an extended time, 6 weeks, is there a limit to the amount of items in each list? Could I put enough lessons for 6 weeks for each grade level? So
I think
Nathan,
I think as a teacher, I would make lists, or I would just give them the links to the modules rather than making one big, huge list that they go through. But I don't know if there's a limit. Is there, Nathan?
No, for either way, there's not currently a limit there's not exactly a limit for it, although right now, just as we're trying to scale up with the load of all of our teachers being back, there is a visual limit that if you have more than 20 my list, you may not see some of the really old my lists that you had to add to. But that's a temporary limit, and we're working to figure out if we can add more of those in. And as we're getting to my list being a little bit more stable, I think that shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah. I think if I had a sub in for me for 6 weeks, I would go to the modules and I would just give them a link to September week 1, 2, 3, 4, October week 1 and 2. That is going to reduce your planning time immensely. And all those lessons are good. I mean, we've got lots and lots of teachers that used them last year. And you can edit as you wish. So you can copy them, you can edit them, or you just give them a link as it is.
perfect. Okay, so I'm going to jump into subplans now, more
Okay.
specifically. Okay, so speaking of the no touch games, is there
Yes.
a place that has multiple grade levels for no touch game activities?
Okay, good question. So in the learning modules, the general section, these are ungraded modules, so you can use them multiple grade levels. So this movement fun favorites is one of my favorite areas. I would copy and make a list and then start adding your own to it, that, your favorites you have from YouTube. If I go back to my search, in the general section still is no touch singing games, and these are fun. Here it is, no touch games. I have to say, we do touch in I Like Spaghetti, but you don't have to. You absolutely don't have to. You could just space kids further apart and just have them pound the fists. But we give you a demo of how to do it. And I believe somebody asked for the notation of I Like Spaghetti, and I put it in here so that you've got the notation and the directions that you can download and print. And then there's more. 7s, individual student activity, really good for I would say grade 3, 4, 5, 6. And we've got a demo video, how to play it. We've got Stephanie Menifee did a wonderful video on how to do 7s with the musical clock. Can you keep a steady beat? A fun beat game. Again, no touch required. Our staff was great demonstrators. The categories game is another good one. Another one that I like for our littles is this name game. It's just pat, say your name. And for a sub, this would be a good game. We've got to get these somehow into the song list, so you could just link to that, because the kids each say their name, and that would be a great opportunity for subs to get to know the kids' names when they walk into a new class. Okay, so that's the no touch games module. Scooby finds the beat, requires nothing, and then we've got Bim Bam. So lots of things. If I want to jump to the top of a long list, use the arrow key. Goes faster. Okay,
Perfect.
next.
Yes, okay. Next question, let's go down to subplans. Okay, this is specifically just about lesson planning. How do I get back to the subplan page again? So that
Okay.
PDF that you were showing.
So again, you scroll, if the cursor's here, you'll scroll this section. If the cursor's here, it'll scroll this section. And lesson planning is here. If anybody is on the Zoom now and is having troubles with this scrolling, please do a little screen share or a screenshot and send a bug report. Bug reports are over here. We haven't been able to recreate the issue. So we can only fix what we can find. So the lesson plans are on this side of lesson planning. I choose my grade level. So if I want grade 3, and then I need to find the little yellow button called Planning Resources. So this is a PDF of what I've picked out as my favorites. Instruments of the orchestra unit, review tempo and dynamics, favorite singing games, favorite fun songs for grade 3. Again, this is good information for those of you new to the site. You know, you might be thinking, oh, what's really fun for the kids? And these are my personal favorites. Online games, rhythm practice, listening selection. The sub chooses what they want to do and they check it off. And they tell you what date they were in, what class they did it with, and you add some notes and comments. If you want to edit it and make it your own, download the Word document and you can make it your own. This set of activities are no-touch sub-activities that don't require technology. So these are good too. Okay.
Perfect. Can you also show what we will learn since you're in this section?
Yes, I'm going to close this out. So 2 sides to lesson planning. This side has the sub-plans and the weekly lessons. The overview side has some nice music advocacy posters, scope and sequence, and the what we will learns. So what will we learn in kindergarten music is here, and this is great. It shows the elements of music, the vocabulary, and then these align to the national standards. If we have any Ontario teachers on, create and perform is kind of one category in Ontario. I've made them like the national standards in the US, so they're 2. Respond in Ontario is like respond and reflect, and connect in Ontario is like multicultural music and making connections. So this is a good list to have posted, especially if you're struggling with national standards, because anytime you're creating and playing, you can go over to here and you can point and say, okay, this is what we're doing today, boys and girls. We're creating, I can create and play patterns, and we can perform them. So yes, I love these what will we learns. And if you are teaching in French, they have been translated for you as well.
Perfect. Okay, so now we're going to talk kind of about the search engine. Question was, if I want to set up plans for a specific topic, how can I search for that per grade level, such as learning note names, writing notes on the staff, and games?
Okay, I'm going to go to the Discover search engine. So if I search for the staff, I get modules where I've done a staff lesson. I've got units with a staff lesson, and this would probably be your best search results. I've got instrument results. I've got some staff tools that are interactive tools for composing melodies. Those will be good results. And this is practice zone, but I'm going to go to the staff lesson in units. I can get to it by clicking here. The other way that I can get to this staff lesson is going to units, theory, and then staff lesson. And this is has been recently rebuilt, and it's we originally had it all in one big long lesson. Now they're segregated. Lesson 1 is the staff and the treble clef. Here is the interactive that teaches. Here is the practice and assess. Notes on the lines, teach them, practice and assess. Notes and spaces, teach and practice. Middle C to G. I asked for this because Boomwhackers, if I'm teaching Boomwhackers, I like to start with C, D, E, F, G. So I requested that this be done so that I could go and do this lesson before I go to the C, D, E, F, G and Boomwhackers. So it tells me what students are going to learn. and they're going to identify the notes from C to G. Activity 1, touch and reveal. A C uses a ledger line. It extends the staff. C is sometimes called middle C. If I click on here, it's going to show me where it is on the piano. Place the note on the staff, and I have to click where I want it to go. I should be full screen because it's a little wonky. If I go full screen, it'll be better. Place it on E, and there we go. Okay, why didn't that mark me right? And then I would go to my next one. I'm going to have to escape. Okay, an F. Got that one right. And D. And G. So there's lots of practice. I guess it's a little finickier than we thought. Carrie Lynn, we're going to have to put in a bug report.
Yep, I see that.
Okay, so this is where if I see something that's not working the way I like, I put in a bug report, and I'll put my name in and tell what browser. It's on Musicplay Online. This is a bug, C to G staff lesson is finicky. And if I attach a screenshot, it's even easier. But we can show that to our developer, who will fix it. And these bug reports go straight to the development team, and it's the quickest way to get things fixed. So that's how you can search. Discover search engine will show you all areas of the site: songs, practice zone, which is rhythm, solfa, vocal warm-ups. It'll show you units. It'll show you instruments. It'll show you listening. So I can search tempo. And again, I can find tempo tool and practice zone, tempo interactive tool, games, and I have a little bit of a unit for tempo. So that's an easy way to search for topics. These are really good. These related songs, just looking at this list, there's no mistakes here, and they're all fun songs. You can tell what grade they are by the color. Orange is grade 2, red is grade 3, blue is grade 4, Ronald McDonald is green, it's grade 5, and I've got a gray one for grade 6. She sailed away. Okay.
So actually, now that you're just right over She Sailed Away, we do have a question of, several of the songs are great for performance, but I'm not finding any accompaniment tracks. Are there any accompaniment tracks, and where do I find them?
There will be accompaniment tracks for everything. So if I go into Ronald McDonald, which is a fun game, scroll down to the bottom, and there is the accompaniment track. And I can download. And if it doesn't show up right away, I just click those 3 dots. The download function is working. You just sometimes have to go through 2 steps. So download, and then I have to go here. Okay, next question.
Easy. Okay, perfect. This is an interesting question. If I let my subscription lapse and then join after summer, do my lists and profile disappear?
Yes, I believe so.
And
Nathan,
your student code?
can you correct me on that one? Your student code will likely change if you, but I'm guessing, Nathan, you would be the one that knows.
Yeah, I'm just reading the question again. Can you repeat it for me, Carrie Lynn?
Yeah, so if my subscription lapses and I join after, do my lists and profile settings disappear?
So if your subscription lapses and you have to create a brand new account with a different district or by yourself because you don't remember whatever it might be, then yes, there will be no My List in there. You basically be starting with a fresh account. However, if you log into your account and you actually renew directly from the account subscription page, all that data will still be saved and you can still have access to it that way. So yes and no.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. And then also, Nathan, just because you've been doing some work on the student code,
yes.
If you were to let your account lapse, but then put in purchase again in the same account, would your student code stay the same or would it change?
The student code would stay the same. However, if you try to have students log into that student code while it's expired, that student code will not work. So the account has to be active and working for that student code to work, but that student code will stay the same.
Okay, that is good news. Excellent. Okay, So that is finished this one. Perfect. Okay, so I will answer this one afterwards. Where can you find the easy Boomwhacker songs that were on a couple years ago? I cannot find it. It seems to be a lot of large notes and the three notes.
You
I
have to
talked.
blame me because I didn't like those easy ones and I thought we should take them off. But we did get a report and we put them back. So go into instruments, go into Boomwhackers, and now you can select your 3-note or your 4-note or your word highlights again. I like, for reading purposes, to start with 5 because it does teach C, D, E, F, G. And if you've done the staff lesson with the kids, they know C, D, E, F, G. Those are the tubes we're going to use. First exercise, they get lots of hints. They get the cheat notes for kids. The next slide they get has the colored notation, and the next slide is regular notation. And I will mention, I can add this to my list. I can give a link so students can practice this at home. So I can do all of those things in the instruments page as well. If I set up my lessons in Google Slides and I decide, okay, I want this, and then I want some musication videos, I can set up a my list. I can add this to my list. Let's add it to the subplans for grade 3. This is the Boomwhacker, and I'll add it to my list, and it's now there. I had a question the last time I did a presentation and I didn't know how to get rid of this list. You just click here again and it goes away. So that was very helpful to have Nathan with me on that. So yes, the Boomwhackers are back. And Nathan, I want you to see what happens here. I go back to my search. I have to go into, you fixed it already. Okay, what can I say? Nathan is amazing. So yes, it's back to my Boomwhackers. I guess if I want to see the selection bar, I still have to click it, but it is going back to Boomwhackers. And these are the musication videos. These ones here, the link to musication, and we've leveled them. So we've got easiest ones first, harder and harder. My complaint about musication is that it tells letter names. It doesn't teach staff notation. And I want those kids to come out of my program at the end of grade 5, reading and writing music. So I want them to do as much staff notation as possible.
Perfect. Okay, so on the Boomwhacker page, what grade level do you start music reading with Boomwhackers?
I have done these 5-note songs with 3rd grade quite successfully. I'm going to be brave and see if I can pull up my Boomwhacker demo. I don't have it on the site, but if I go into videos for workshops, I have Boomwhackers, C, D, E, F, G. This is a grade 3 class. This was the first time I had seen this class. I went in and they had done no staff notation at all. So in 30 minutes, I got to teach them C, D, E, F, G on the staff, and then we got them playing. And it's coming. It's in the cloud and it needs to download before I can show you. But I quite like this demo because the kids really had fun with this. When you're doing Boomwhackers with kids, my suggestion is don't do a 45-minute lesson with only Boomwhackers. Do about 20 minutes with Boomwhackers and then do some singing, moving, and other things so that they get it. I don't think, oh, there it goes. Okay, so I can play it for you now. C, C, D, D, E, E, F, G, G, F, F, E, E, C, C, D, D, E, F, G, G, F, E, C, C. And the classroom teacher, the classroom music teacher, really fine music teacher, Denise Workman, we hit on the idea of seating them on their flip forms by note. So the C's all sat here, the D's, the E's, the F's, the G's. And boy, that made it easy. That really made the teaching simple. I don't know if that exact activity is in here, but you can see we've got lots of C, D, E, F, G. I will mention one other thing. I use the slideshow. I requested that the slideshow be first. because, sorry, did that wrong. I want to go at my own pace, but we do have the tempo control over videos. So if you're on C, D, E, F, G, the intro, and you choose to use the video of it, you can slow it down with the gear wheel tool. You go up to speed, and then you can slow or speed up. Same for recorder, same for anything. Recorder, it's particularly valuable for, but for the Boomwhackers, I like the slide, because then I play unaccompanied until the kids are really good at it, and then I add in the accompaniment. Oh, okay. Okay, next question.
Can you show us where poison rhythm is?
Okay, again, when I'm scrolling on the left, make sure your cursor's positioned on the left, and then I go to rhythm practice. Old site, we had 14 levels of rhythm. So some of these levels were on the old site. Prepare rhythm, stick notation, ta, TT. These ones were on the old site. These ones were not on the old site. They were sort of all lumped together in one, and we had requests from teachers to split them up. So at this point, all activities are going to be in the 14 original levels. So ta, TT, rest is going to have them all. So I go ta, TT, rest. And the first one is echo body percussion. These are the beautiful animated play-alongs. These play-alongs are 4-beat or 8-beat play-alongs. And I keep scrolling down. I get to listen, say and clap. If you use ta, TT, you can use these ones. If you use do's and do days, you can use these ones. It goes, and the kids say ta, TT, ta, ta. And then we have the poison rhythms. So if you're not seeing the poison rhythms, it's just because it's a new section and we haven't built it out yet. I talked to our video editor today and he was starting on ties. So we're excited. They're going to be there. But right now, if I go into ties, all I see is these lovely animated videos. Poison is coming.
Yep, it definitely is. Okay, so that is great. Is there a place to get music for barred instruments on the site?
Or for arrangements, yes. So pretty well any song. I'm going to show you using the filter. So if I'm teaching third grade and I want to know where the ORF arrangements are for third grade, I can go here and I need to scroll to directory. And then I'm going to filter by ORF. Did everybody see that? So these I want to filter by grade 3. So these are all my ORF arrangements that I have in grade 3. So I can choose what tone set I'm working on, or something like Old Brass Wagon would be great because it has lots of movement with it. I want Rocky Mountain, and I want to teach the ORF arrangement for that. So the ORF arrangement is going to be here in arrangements. We have piano and ukulele guitar for every song on the website. Only specific songs have others. And this one has an ORF arrangement. And this is going to be a good arrangement for grade 3. It's going to challenge them if they haven't done a lot of instruments before. I always start with the bass, teach it to everybody using body percussion, then go to those instruments. And then I add in other instruments as we can. Sometimes we'll only get 2 parts learned. Good class, 3. Really good class, we'll get the 4th one in. And we've tried, this one doesn't have creating activities, but we've tried for creating activities. If you have barred instruments and you want to teach them melody reading, I would use the instrument section for that and go into the Boomwhackers. Because you can use the 5 notes on barred instruments just the same as you can use the 5 notes on Boomwhackers. Song content is going to work just as well.
Perfect. Can you just show one more time how to get to that directory?
It's a bit tricky. I actually had to get help learning how to do it. So I go into my song list, I add the filter, and now I click here and I have to scroll down, and that's where the directory is. And then I have to choose if I want ORF or I want Kodai and I want the ORF. There's a lot of overlap between the ORF and the Kodai anyways. And for myself, I absolutely would have, even if I am doing an ORF lesson, I would still have the kids read it in solfa and read the rhythms if it's a reading song. And most of these you can scroll down and you can see these are all pretty easy rhythms for third grade. Oops, I'm on first grade. That's why it's so easy. I went to third grade. But they're still pretty easy rhythms. Whoopee Cushion has a larger range of rhythms, but it's a good teaching piece for teaching those rhythms. Once I get into 16th notes, I can start teaching with 16ths as well. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Okay. We're going to switch gears a little bit. Are there any lessons for split classes?
Not specifically. I can tell you in my experience with split classes, I generally start with the lower grade and work through the lower grade materials. But I will, if it's a good class, and often in the schools I taught in, they put the stronger students, the more independent workers into the split. So often I would be able to shift gears and do the upper grade. And I am a big believer in repetition from year to year. It does not hurt kids at all to do closet key in grade 2 and then bring it back in grade 3. That repetition makes them better readers and better musicians. So don't worry about the repetition. And there's so many options for these songs that you can do it one way when they're in grade 2 and a different way when they're in third grade. So I would start lower, but your kids, if they're doing really, really well, then I would tackle the upper grades lessons.
Perfect. Okay, this question is a little bit more of an account question. If I have changed schools, do I get a new code or does it live with my subscription?
It lives with your subscription. Am I correct, Nathan?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you as a teacher, if you have an account already created, whether or not your school is paying for that, as long as that account stays with you or stays with your email address or whatever it might be, it stays with your username, that account will have the same student code for you that goes with you.
And I'm just going to add to that. My lists cannot be transferred to different accounts, right? So I would highly recommend, if you are moving schools, keep your Musicplay Online yours so you can change your email in there. Denise, can you show how to edit your profile? So just
I can try. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's all good. We'll work together.
I haven't done it myself, so I'll go up to my
Yeah.
dashboard and I'll edit my profile. So
Yeah.
I guess I can change everything, I think, except for my username. So if I do
Correct.
change, I can. I think the problem, Carrie Lynn, is going to be if it's a district account paid for by the district, you move to a new district, you're not going to be able to take your information with you.
But you're able to leave the district account and then change your email address, and then it creates an open seat for the district to fill, right?
Right, but I can't take my account with me. If I was working for Cypress Fairbanks ISD and I moved to Houston ISD and Cypress Fairbanks had this subscription, I can't take.
Yeah,
right, so then, yeah, Nathan, you go for it.
Yeah, I'll just jump in here. So no, you're right. Like that user, if they leave that district and their new district did not have a subscription, their account would be inactive at that point. But they can still hold on to the account credentials. Their account would no longer be paid for by the district that they were formerly a part of.
So a situation like that would have to go through support and probably go to you or to districts, right?
Yes, that's correct. That would be a manual process of transferring a user out, and that would usually come from the district manager of this is a person that's leaving the district, and then it would be up to them or up to their new district to figure out their subscription from there.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, so that is the screen to change your password, your email, anything. So definitely use that.
And also, if you have people that want to know where webinars are right down here in the dashboard. So we record all of them, and then you can come back and review and refresh.
Perfect. Okay. Yes, and we have some requests for some content, marimba and more Orff stuff, so that is awesome. We will discuss. Okay, so I do have somebody who just asked, I've started using Musicplay Online. Where can I find more training for the resource? Do you want to
So
actually show the
I
webinar?
would start up here in the webinars. So I've been doing them weekly since September. I actually had voice surgery on the 25th of August, so a few weeks went by. But I did a new features webinar. That's a really good intro. This one's a good intro, and today is subplans. And again, I'm kept it deliberately short because we had so many question and answers with these other ones. But this is the best place to get your training, is through the webinars.
Yeah, and we do have a bit of stuff on YouTube. So if you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of these webinars go directly into YouTube as well. So if you prefer viewing on YouTube, that is the place.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we might actually be coming to the end. So Nathan, I hope you saw, but there are still some people who are experiencing the jump to top
Yes.
when they come out of full screen mode. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say that it's been one of the hardest bugs for us to track down. So we are trying to replicate it as hard as we can. There are several fixes in place for that. So there, technically speaking, shouldn't be a reason, but I'm going to continue investigating and try to find that as quickly as possible and get that
Yeah.
solved.
They call it a bug for a reason. It's like that mosquito flying around in your bedroom in the middle of the night. You turn the lights on, you get the fly swatter, and you can't see that stupid mosquito. And Nathan literally looks at lines and lines and lines of code looking for where that bug happened. So he's doing his best, but it may take, yeah, I'm not sure how we're going to tackle that one. SWAT, smash it.
And I will say further to that, I'm hoping very soon that we're going to have quite a few more eyes on this particular piece of code, because this code base has grown by my estimates to about 50 to 100,000 lines of code, which we're hoping to get more people on board to kind of double check that. And specifically for bugs like this, where my old tired eyes now can't actually see where the code is because I've written too many lines, we're going to have some new eyes to get them, get these things resolved in a quicker, more timely manner.
Yeah, no, that would be good projects for other developers. Okay, Carolyn, so if there is no other questions, I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. And I should put in the chat, if you have, I'm going to stop sharing. If you have curriculum kind of questions, curriculum or program questions, Denise at musicplay.ca. If you need tech support in any way, support at musicplay.ca, and they will forward. And of course, those bug reports they just get forwarded instantly to the tech team, and they're really, really good about fixing as quickly as they can, especially when they find that bug right away. It's not buried in code. Okay. Kids using the codes at home, if you give them a link, they don't need the code. If they just want to go to Musicplay Online and play around, then you might want to give them a note with the code, and just turn them loose and say, okay, you go play games on Musicplay Online. But you don't have to give them the code if you give them a link. So, okay, thanks everybody. Thanks for coming with me, and really appreciate it. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye everybody.